Welcome, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Unfiltered Talkshow. Um, Tonight we have a privilege to have between us evangelist Joseph Olomasari, and on my left I have Apostle Dr. A.K. Nons, and of course our very own special guest, Apostle Dr. Francis Okonkwo. Welcome in our midst. So thank you for joining us. It's really a privilege. And today we are going to be talking about what men need in a relationship. Uh, I don't know. That's why I think I have my dignitaries in our midst here to help us out with the question, to provide us probably with a very good quality answer for our viewers out there to learn and know more, have more knowledge. So I'm going to be directing the question first to our special guest of honor, Pastor Dr. Francis Okonkwo. What do men need in a relationship, sir? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I think we live in a society where there is a rush to everything everybody does. So uh, the truth is this: you can't give what you don't have. So the issue of giving men what they want, or talking about what wants, well, the want of a man is insatiable. Or rather, I would have said what men need in relationship. And when we talk about relationship, we are not trying to tie it to marriage, okay? Because relationship is global. Marriage is a choice, okay? People can choose to relate and not marry. So I think the first step is to find the purpose of your life. Everybody should seek to find their purpose, the reason they were born, why they are here, the things God has proposed for them. When you are able to discover your own purpose, it will now help you to find how to fit into another person's purpose, or to know what fits your own purpose. Exactly. Because if you have not actually found your purpose, it will be very difficult to fit into another person's purpose. It will be a cluster, right? Yes. So I think we should first of all seek to educate the society, or either the man child or the woman would, how to seek and discover their personalities. Once this thing is solved, is a problem. Once really it is solved, the issue of what a woman or a man wants in a relationship will become too minimal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Do we have the question is still open, the floor is still open, so I'm open to more suggestions and more knowledge.
I will still talk more, but I will stop here.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. So, sir, Apostle Dr. A.K. Nons, what do you have to tell us, sir?
Okay. Um, we have to understand that a man is a very peculiar being, and different from the nature of a woman. So if you want to know what a man will want in a relationship, you have to study who a man is
first,
before you can be able to know his wants.
Okay.
A man is a very special being, different from that of a woman. So their want will not be exactly the same thing. So when you are in a relationship with a man, there are things you need to expect. First of all, a man in a relationship will want honor in a relationship. The difference between respect and honor is that you respect someone based on his status, you respect someone based on his title, you respect someone based on his achievements. But a man wouldn't want to be respected because of his achievement. A man will want to be respected because he's a man. So that's what we call it honor. So honor is different from respect. Respect is based on what you have achieved. Honor is based on the personality of a man. So a man will want to have his honor when you are dealing with him in a relationship, whether it's in business, whether it's in any form or whatever. A man will prefer. That's why in Igbo they say no man than a disgrace is a disgrace. A man would want that his honor to be preserved instead of being dragged to the mud. So when you're relating with a man, you have to make sure you don't tamper with that his ego, with that his honor. Very, very important to him.
Wow. So you are speaking from the honor aspect.
Honor aspect.
The honor aspect. So can we get from the respect perspective of what men need in a relationship?
Okay. A man wants respect when someone have achieved one or two things in life. It is very, very important you give him accurate of what they have achieved. For an example, there's a way you address someone who is married from someone who is not married. If a woman is married, for an example, you have to add Mrs. to her name. If a man is married, you have to add some certain Mr. to his name. So the same way, there are some achievements someone will achieve. You become you get to a particular place in your academic. Some certain stuff are being awarded to you. So when a man is addressed, he wants those things to be attached to his personality. You know, that is in the aspect of being respected for a man. He wants his achievement to be attached to him when being addressed.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So, Evangelist, what's your take in this?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
To speak amongst great intellects. Thank you very much for attending this program, sir.
You're welcome.
Like our father here rightly said, he said that you find your purpose. I want to pick it up from there. You can achieve your purpose in life without marrying. But you cannot have a successful marriage you cannot have a successful marriage by marrying the wrong person. And for you to achieve your aim in life, you need to be very, very personal about your purpose as a man. Because choosing first comes to the man. Your purpose is very important because that is where your honor is attributed to. Your honor is attributed to your purpose in life.
Okay.
That is the reason why whenever any man says, what will the man bring to the table? Where is the table first?
Okay. Before
what the woman brings to the table. And when a man finds his purpose in life, a man with a vision will never go into a relationship with just anyhow person. He goes into a relationship expecting a female or any ship.
Yes, very important.
And what trust means to a man is not what trust means to a woman.
Yeah.
A man would want you, just like our father here rightly said, he said he wants your honor to be attached. Your honor to be attached, even to the name calling. Yes, your honor should be attached to it. So when a man wants to get trust from you, from a woman, he would like a woman that will not change on him. Just like I'd like to, sometimes I feel that it is not possible to talk relationship without God. And the most paramount booklet we use for our research is Bible.
Yes.
And then I derive this trust from the book of Proverbs chapter 31 verse 11. The woman trusts. The woman builds trust in a man. If you check out the whole of Proverbs chapter 31, you will find out that this man gave up himself for the woman. It is an ideal woman for the Christendom. She's not a reality. I still have a lot of points to disseminate in this platform, but for now, let's switch it over to. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. You spoke from the trust aspect of what men.
There is something I want to add to what she said.
Okay, sir.
Okay, when she was talking, she reflected points that it was powerful, quite profound. Trust.
Trust, yeah.
Okay, you see, but first of all, we need to get these things straight. When we talk about relationship, we must understand that there is much to life outside living together with a person. There's much to life. People can find and fulfill their lives without giving birth to children. You see, because that's one of the biggest problems. I've seen people who get married, and because they're not living well, the society looks at them as failures. You can actually succeed being who they are.
That's the truth.
Then again, I've seen people who are said to have failed because their marriage refused to produce a child, a baby. So that's is an absurd. The society need to correct all of this. I bring my trust from the woman, a figure in the scripture, Ruth. You start the book of Ruth. Ruth herself, she got married. She lost her husband. She didn't have a baby, but she didn't lose her personality.
Yes.
She didn't lose her life. She succeeded. So there is life beyond living with a person. I've seen men, I've seen women, I've seen all kinds of chaos, casualties, just because people are trying to fit into what the society wants them to look like. When I talk about need, trust is very, very paramount. Now, take a case of someone like Jonah. Probably Jonah married a wife.
Yes.
And after being away for like 3 days, Jonah comes back telling the wife that how he had been swallowed by a fish. Now, the first reaction of the wife will be, you think you are talking to a baby? You think I'm a dunce? What kind of fish? Is it tilapia? What kind of fish swallowed you? You think just because you married me, I don't have a brain? Even if John telling her that you left the home, you were swallowed.
By a fish.
Are you a naval officer? What kind of
Sounds like
story is
Tales of
this?
Moonlight.
What kind of story is
Tales
this?
by Moonlight.
So it sounds funny, but that's the reality of life. We need to be practical. Okay, we're talking about women need to find a way to succeed.
Okay.
This earth was made for people to relate, not primarily to live. So it will handle the it will handle the issue of trying to fit into someone else's opinion of you, because there are things you will never satisfy. The wants, the need of to say true. Everyone.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Though this today's question, I mapped out a series of sub questions under this very what men need in a relationship, because I don't think we're actually going to finish this today. I don't really think
It won't be possible.
I don't think we are going to finish that today. So you've touched one, the honor aspect. She touched the respect aspect. So I want to know. I want to bring it down to the financial aspect. What do men actually need in a relationship, coming from the financial aspect? Does anyone have?
Okay. Men,
It's a serious matter.
very, very important.
Very important.
The truth is that men need support. And you see, most of the time, support has much to do beyond finance. You know, support has to do with concept. You can give a man a mental support that will finally bring money. You can give a man emotional support that can finally bring money. Because if a man is down, if someone is down in his vision, you won't be able to achieve some certain thing if you do not give him support in that regard. There are people who are bankrupt of idea. That's why I always tell you, I said, if you are going to get married to a man, if you are going to have a dealing with a man, you have to be tough, because men go through tough. For example, if you are married to a politician, are you getting what I'm saying? Men go through tough stuff, trying to achieve their vision, trying to achieve their business. So you have to be someone who is also tough, that can support them with idea when they are bankrupt of it, support them with concept, support them with all kinds of stuff. Let me give an example. Ahab liked a particular land, that was very close to his land. It was Naboth that have that land. And as a good man, he went to talk to this guy. He said, please, I love this your land. It's very close to my, I swear. I'm not taking your land from you, but because it's very close to my own, I want to give you. It need to be beyond a woman just trying to find a man to marry. You have to be strong so that I can be able to lend a support to a man when a man needs it. Because a man will come to a point in his life he will need support. So a man will definitely need a support that will either bring finance, bring idea, any form of support that is going to drive his vision forward and his ambition forward.
Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have anything to add to it, Evangelist?
Yes, I just got something from what he just said now.
You caught a rema.
Yeah, just caught a rema.
Yeah.
Like a man needs a woman that he will go to war with, not a woman he will fight against.
My God.
You actually caught a rema.
I caught it.
A woman that will fight
With
for you and fight with you.
Fight
Not
side by
you.
side
Not fighting
with
you.
him.
So in our own terms, we call it gossip mate.
Yes. You
You
build.
actually need a gossip
See,
mate.
I see a woman in what he said now. That is
a partner in
building
crime.
a whole lot. That is not timid. That is very bold. That is building her self-esteem to match to the standard of the man
Very
she's going to be
important.
with.
That is it. That is it.
So that she can stand every obstacle that will come.
Because at that point in time, what the man needs is not sex.
It's not.
It's not
Not.
romance.
That's the truth.
It's that support. Finding that particular
Your brain
support
work.
per time.
I,
You see, that's the problem of the society. You walk into the house,
yes.
you want a man to take you out. You're not taking time to find out how the man went about the day's
That's it.
activities.
That's the truth.
So let me quickly chip this in. Does it have to do with being learned or not learned?
It has
Going
nothing
to
to do
school
with
or not?
It
going?
has
educated.
It has
nothing to
nothing
do with
that.
It
Because
has
most people
everything to do
believe
with,
that.
with being educated about life.
About life, not
Education in school
university.
is
I'm confused.
yeah. Life is a school.
All right.
So you need to be educated about and learning nonsense. Learning nonsense.
Okay.
Okay.
I got something
In fact,
again.
look at me. Let me say
From-
this. That some women would have looked at that scenario and concluded that I never knew I married a weakling. You are crying because somebody talked back at you. When will you stand up and be a man you are?
Meanwhile, that's the gap she's
Meanwhile,
supposed to
that's
fill.
the gap she
the-
was supposed to fill.
Exactly.
Let me tell you this life story. My mom, my dad, while we were in Abakaliki, wanted to go for a promotion, interview and all that in Abia State. He didn't have money to go. It was my mom that got money and supported him for him to go for that for a promotion exam.
Okay.
I know a man in Ebonyi State. It was the wife that brought money that helped him to win an election.
Child.
I get what I'm saying.
That's what they need
So
at that particular time.
at that particular time, so you see, a time will come in a man's life where he won't be able to go through a certain level. I get what I'm saying. A woman needs to be so influential, so powerful that he can have
So sensitive.
access.
Very sensitive, highly
Yes.
sensitive.
He can have access to even get money in the bank. Can have access to even get money from some powerful persons. You know, so if you're around a man, you won't be someone.
Yes, that
to
reminds me.
Shaking
get
your bum
over
bum
a
up and down.
particular
That-
Relationship is beyond
challenge,
shaking
and they
bum
can't,
bum.
so they just feel weak.
Yes.
I
That
don't know what to
reminds
do
me.
again.
Up
You
and
just
down.
made a
The lady
point
should
now.
now
It reminds me
fill in that
when Dave Umahi was the
Is it
governor of
bum bum you are
Ebonyi
bringing to
State.
the table?
Like,
That
no,
is,
no,
that
no.
is the time when they see in a man's life where he doesn't
Sorry.
even care about bum bum.
That's it.
Exactly.
But he needed bubble.
See-
He needed something that would suit his life. Not bum bum.
In Ebonyi State.
And it was not his wife.
I'm telling his wife.
His wife.
I'm telling you, if
Wow.
there is a project that he cannot penetrate, he will say, "Let me go and call my power."
Wow.
She will go. Not just a beauty per se. You know, some people they feel you just come out like a fine woman, just like the Bible
Flex.
says, a flex. Like
This is
the
actually
Bible
a
says,
typical
when
example
a
of
man
bringing
keeps
something to the
mute,
table.
when a man keeps quiet, when a fool keeps quiet, a fool keeps
He
mute.
seems to be wise.
It seems to be wise. So you know the identity of every man via the word he speaks from his mouth.
Okay.
So you know how wise, how his IQ, how the level of his IQ. Now this woman was a dangerous weapon for politics in Ebonyi State. And I know he achieved a lot with this woman. So that's the kind of woman that he's trying to present. But there's something I would like to say. Like you said about finance, let it not look as if we are deviating from what we are talking about, but we are really saying something very important. So many men believe that a woman should bring in money to the table too. So what do we have to say about this?
I was actually coming to that.
Yes.
So since she has thrown it open, let's
I think, let me say this.
okay.
You see, the girl child needs a whole lot of work.
The girl child.
Our mothers are not doing what they ought to do. What they think they are transferring to the girl child is just education. And education does not make the whole individual. It makes a person to fit into a particular profession. The human being is bigger than an institution.
Okay.
Profession is a minute aspect of a profession, of an institution. So, and when they carry that mentality, they think they are fit enough to walk into someone's life
And make things
and begin
happen.
to model things. You see, that's why we have problem. We need to educate the girl child because the level that this society is going, it will be very difficult to marry very, very soon.
Very difficult.
Because we don't have marriageable youths now. Now we have the people who are dancing on TikToks, on Facebook, dancing, creating all kinds of nonsense and nuisance to the society. And
On
tomorrow
that
you
aspect,
want,
is it both for the men
excuse me,
or for the women?
no, excuse me, and you want that kind of person to fit into a man's life.
Okay. These are actually coming from the women angle.
You see, it will fit into a man's life.
Naturally.
And when a man sees that kind of personality, and the man is still looking for something else, everybody's like, what is he looking for again? Is she not beautiful enough? Is she not lanky?
It's not
is she
about
not
the beauty.
tall? Is he not, what is it that is, look at shape? You see, these are all kinds of nonsense our society has used to. These are outside what a man needs and wants.
This is just the minor list.
In fact, what men needs are not seeable.
That's the kind of women that TD Jakes refers to as faddish, foolish, fanatical icons of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something I want to say. I want to maintain the question you asked in regard that should women
Also
bring
bring
something to the table,
Money.
finance to the table.
To the
Now
table.
you see, if you watch God, He made everything in pair. Your leg is two, your hand is two, your kidney is two. The reason is because God creates support system. Very, very important. A woman is not supposed to be looked up to be the one carrying the financially for the family. Let in case the man dies, in case the man dies, let in case the man has accident, in case the man has accident, let in case his business goes down.
There should be a support
There
system.
should be a support system where the woman can have something financially to be able to carry the family along while the man recovers.
Yes.
It's not that the woman now carries it on his head all through. It should be till the man recovers to come and take his responsibility. So a woman is made primarily for support system, including the area of finance.
Okay, I think that question has been answered.
Yeah. That's an answer.
The question
They are
has
meant
been
to
answered.
support.
So coming to the mental aspect,
Uh-huh.
mentally,
Mental.
what men need in a relationship, mentally.
I think we dived into it a little bit.
A little bit,
A
but
little
I
bit.
wasn't really satisfied.
That's intellect. Like that's where we psychologically that's
yeah.
the intellect.
Yeah.
Men carrying the vision
Okay.
and women helping the vision. So what are we talking again? You find into your purpose, she will carry you along, and then everything is done. So there is no need.
Okay, let me say something. Okay.
It's not as simple as that.
How do we
That's just
Okay,
it.
let me say something a little bit in that area. What men need mentally. Men psychologically and mentally need peace. Don't forget this. Very, very important. In the place where there is no peace, a man cannot function.
at all?
Whether it's in marriage, whether it's in business, whether it's in any form of relationship. Once the atmosphere is chaos,
That's actually the word.
a
I
man
was looking
cannot
for.
be
Chaotic.
creative. You see, that's why I tell people, I say, why do you think Samson was traveling all the way from the land of Israel to the land of the Philistines to go and be with Delilah? This is an uncircumcised woman, but this man will travel, powerful guy,
Trek.
will trek all the way to be with a woman.
Killing lions.
Trek.
I keep telling people, I say, you could imagine that this man will lie on this woman's lap, even when there was a death trap. You know, he will so comfortably. He will so sleep that they will be bobbing his head, and he will not wake up. That will tell you so much peace he has found around that environment. And like Pastor says, it's beyond bomb. Such peace is beyond sex. It's beyond bomb.
Yeah.
There is an atmosphere you create. Bible says that a man prefers to stay in a mountain than to stay in a house with a nag. Sometimes even men also nag. You can have a friend that nags, that is a boy.
What would the Bible say about that?
I get what I'm
Well,
saying?
actually, like,
So when
That's not a topic for today.
yes, so when an atmosphere is dirtied with nagging, with strife, with contention, with competition, with all kinds of negative vibe, a man will leave that environment. He won't function there.
It can't function.
You know, so mentally, a man needs an environment that is fused with peace, so that he can be able to function perfectly.
Okay, you talked about men nagging. What could be the cause of it? I really wonder, because I've had this experience
I
where
think
a
it should
friend
be a
called
topic
me.
for another day.
Yeah.
It's just
celebrate.
I'm just asking outside the box.
Frustration can make a man to nag. My dad used to call it frustration out of disengagement. Out
Once
of
you are
disengagement
disengaged
from your job
from your job,
or your
from
business,
something
you are not meeting up your expectation. Ibido kenta mu
or
di
your
jembo wa.
woman does not trust you.
That's the truth.
That's another thing that can
You see,
cause.
when I was talking about Jonah, it is possible that the people out there would have said to the wife, woman, calm down. Don't you understand the message? He told you that a fish swallowed him. That fish is another woman that took him for 3 days. It means you are not a woman.
That's the
You
truth.
see, that's the problem. What does the society create for the woman? What kind of society? What kind of environment?
Okay, I caught a rema there.
You caught a
This is
rema.
actually a
That is
question.
where
This is
a
actually
woman
a
needs
question
to-
for another day.
need to
The
build.
society
Yeah.
suitable for the man.
Yes, environment.
I think this should be a
That's
question for another day.
insecurity on the part of the woman.
Insecurity on the
Yes,
part of a woman
insecurity
can
on the
cause
part
a
of the
man to
woman, and
lag.
it can cause a man not
If you
to have
handle the water
space.
and you bring in a lion to drink, he can't drink.
They can't drink.
Once the water is shaky, he suspects everything.
That's
Yes.
the truth.
And when you create that environment of suspicion, a man cannot settle down.
Yes.
And a man is creative by nature. That's why you don't see the home going down. Everything is breaking down.
Lap of Delilah.
That lap.
The lap.
Yeah, that lap
That
of
lap.
Delilah. So when a
That
woman,
lap. That lap.
that lap.
Just leave that lap alone.
That lap.
No, no,
I
no,
think
no, I
you
must
should
talk
leave
about
that lap
it.
alone.
That Delilah's
You
lap.
see, when you give affection to a man,
Yes.
affection, he will. That is why I talked about trust. You don't need any other thing for a man to trust you. You just need to massage his ego. And that's all. Massage his ego. And a very clean environment. Number 3, that's the reason why he kept going to that place.
That's right.
Do you understand? A clean environment. Now, what about yourself? Women keep their house clean and then leave themselves alone. There are so many things we need to do to clean up so that the man will be able to put his head on your lap.
That's raw.
That lap is very important.
Let me tell you.
So, can
like
we?
this, raw.
Okay, let me
That
tell you.
is
Let
why
me
I
tell you.
said I want to
That's
talk about.
actually-
Wait. Let a man talk.
That's actually
Okay,
raw.
let me tell you something else that is on the lap
Ignited.
Oh, okay.
The
of
lap.
Delilah. You need to understand something else that is on the lap of Delilah. That which is on the lap of Delilah is encouragement.
Wow.
Men need to be encouraged. Let me give you an
Very
example.
important.
You remember that David was in the bush. You know, he was a kind of a vagabond. He had issue with Saul, and he went inside the bush to raise his men. Nabal was a rich man, very mighty man, very massive. He heard, because where he was raising his men, that was where Nabal has his business. And because of his influence and power, he was a kind of a shield to Nabal's business. So he heard that this man was selling sheep to his business partners. He sent his men, say, please go beg this man to give us some food to eat. He was a hungry man. He was a tout.
Vulnerable.
He was
at that time.
at that time. Are you get what I'm saying? So Nabal saw this man, came begging him, said, David, our master sent us. He said, who is David? Is he the one that ran away from his master? Say, David, the son of Jesse, wants one boy to Saul. How can I take the honorable stuff I'm giving to my business partner and give to that tout? So he speaks so lawfully to the men of David, and they left told David. David was so furious. He said, in vain have I shared them, protected everything that pertained to this man. He said, today I will kill everybody in his house. So he took his 400 soldiers on the way to go and kill everybody in the house. The wife, Abigail, heard about it,
Wow.
took food, didn't tell the husband. Bible says she was a wise woman.
A wise woman.
Took food, took some stuff, and blocked David on the road.
Halted him.
Halted him on the road. Now you see, Nabal spoke to David harshly. The beast in David came out.
Exactly.
Another person is about to speak to David now. And the God in David came out. What did he tell David? He said, forget about Nabal, my husband. He doesn't talk with his senses. He said, if I had seen the men you sent to the house, I wouldn't have let them go without giving them food.
Exactly.
He said, I know, so you know what you are fighting for Israel. They won't be fighting you the way they are fighting you. He said, listen to me, you're a great man. He said, one of these days you are going to be king.
That's the ego massage.
I hear what I'm saying. One of these days you are going to be king. He began to encourage you. He said, forget what is happening now. You're going to be king, and tomorrow you will now be feeling guilty of killing some, avenging yourself of this useless man you want to go and kill. He said, there is no need. He said, please, one of these days you'll become king. When you become king, remember you are handmaid. Now, this woman is calling himself handmaid, and is the wife of the richest man in town. If you study it, 7 days after God avenged David and killed Nabal, the first thing David did was to go and collect Abigail and propose marriage.
2 seconds.
But this is the kind
Because
of woman.
if somebody like this will encourage me, I need her in my team.
I'm telling you, that's what I said about massaging a man's ego. You
You
just
said
need
it.
to massage. If you massage a man's ego, he will trust you with everything.
Very
He knows that he will go far with you.
Very important.
And then there is another thing about Abigail that I fished out. This woman has been abused verbally. Yes, that's the reason why she knew her
Going through
husband
a lot.
was, what did she even refer to him? Son of Belial.
Yes.
That was what she referred. And she knew that he was going to die. And everly she has been looking for David. And she knew that, yes, that is women for you. Women will go into any relationship with an intention. And that was her opportunity to get the man over. And I see that woman as a very intelligent woman that would want to be a queen, that is fit to be a queen. That is why David went for her.
She saw her former marriage as a mistake.
Yes.
That
So
is the kind of man I am supposed to have married.
Of course.
I wish the table would turn. And finally the table turned.
It turned. How will
But she
it
played
not
her card
turn?
very well.
She did it.
She didn't go fighting the husband though.
Yeah.
She took advantage of an opportunity.
Seeing
For
a man that is going somewhere.
encouragement. For encouragement.
But yet, David was not satisfied. Why?
Why?
He wasn't satisfied with her. Because a man will want a woman that will feed his ego. He will want a woman that will satisfy him. He will want a woman. So
In
is
the
it
other room.
good for a woman in the other room? Okay. Is it good for a woman to be multidimensional?
That is the right word for a woman. A woman should be.
You
should
must
be.
multi-dimensional.
Should or
Multifaceted.
must?
Very, very important.
Must be.
And you see, this is what we should have in view when raising a girl
A
child.
girl child.
We should not raise a girl child to just be a wife. That-
I'm proposing there should be a university of relationship
Yes.
before anybody gets into adulthood. Once you are through with and you are in normal contemporary university, you now go for 2 years course in university of relationship
Very
and
important.
marriage.
Very important.
When you graduate, you will now be able to fit into the society. Otherwise, you become a nuisance. Otherwise, you become a nuisance.
Very important. A girl child should be trained in such a way that she can meet up with every challenges, every circumstances.
Yeah.
Because you see, the society is advancing, and if a lady is not, a girl is not trained to think like a man, to think like a husband, to think like a father, to think like a mother, a situation will come in life
Like a lover.
like a lover. I get what I'm saying? So she should be trained to be so versatile that she can be able to meet up with every challenges that come in the environment where she is or to the man that she's married to. Very, very important.
Really, something is really happening in the society today. Yeah. I see women chasing after the men because the men are carrying the vision and they are running with it. They are running very farther than the women. So, if a woman must meet up with a man, she need a constant self-development to meet his standard.
Consistent, constant and consistent.
To meet up with the standard of the man. So, I feel that every other woman that will push through would push through just like Esther did, can be trained by a man. A man trains a woman, she becomes a formidable force.
Exactly.
So fathers should put more effort. They should bring it to more ebullience in bringing up their girl child because they are the ones that will tell them the truth of what men are.
Very important.
The next thing I'm going to actually going to cause a lot of commotion because this is where we will now.
We still have time for that.
Yes, this is actually the last thing I think we should touch, and I would want it raw. Let's face speaking from the fact aspect. Now let's leave the Bible, even though it's important to add one or two, but let's face the fact now. What do men need when it comes to the sex aspect?
There is no particular stuff you will
okay.
say, like our pastor said, our needs are valuable.
Is sex
Yeah,
important?
it differs what I may need in sex may not be what he needs in sex. I know somebody that will need to be beaten while you are having sex with him. That's how he enjoys it. I wouldn't like to be beaten.
Okay.
I get what I'm saying? Why I'm having sex with my wife. Some certain person want the woman to be on top. I get what I'm saying? So that question is vast.
But
I get
do you think sex is actually needed in a relationship? We were talking about the relationship aspect, not marriage. We're talking about relationship,
Okay.
not marriage.
It is individualistic.
It's individualistic.
There is no study that will give you full package
That's it.
of what a man needs.
That's it.
You may finish on the door of your graduation. The first man you meet will floor you.
That's the truth.
Because what you will need will be completely out of every curriculum you went through.
Okay.
Yes. So when you get close to a man, study that man
And find out.
and find out
There's
his
just
peculiar
something
needs.
I'm looking for. There's something.
Find out
I'm
about his
looking
peculiar
for.
needs.
In a relationship on this
In a
platform.
relationship,
on
not
this-
marriage.
Yes, yes. In a relationship, I
Relationship.
strongly believe that sex should be communicado. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about
It
that.
should be communicated
Okay.
on this platform.
All right.
I wouldn't advocate for premarital sex.
No, we are not talking about.
You see, there's something about this psychology that we don't know. When you communicate sex, you could be a virgin, but mentally you've had sex. Yes, mentally you've had sex. So make sure that the rhythm of your sex is the same with your spouse. Because it will go a long way to solve the issue that will come up after
marriage.
you are married. Because what it is for a man, 100-meter race for a man could be a whole life running for a woman. So it should merge through communication. Yes, it should come together through communication. Sex is very, very important, especially in the life of men. Medically, you find out that men need to come. Okay, should I say they need to for like 21 times in a month. So if the woman is not able to for that interval,
Talk to me.
how is he going to meet up with his medical terms? Because it's very, very paramount.
Okay.
Because it will affect him, just like the cases of scrotum cancers that we have. All these scrotum cancers that we have today is found for not meeting up. So you need a woman that can drive you into that sexual round. This one is medical aspect. Before I the satisfaction part of it. So it's very, very important you communicate it with your spouse before you go into marriage, because it could break a home.
Communication, like she said, is very, very important. One of the reasons why people have issue in marriage, let us say they are doing relationship and finally get into marriage and they have issue, is because there were not enough communication. There are expectations people have that we are not met during the time of courtship, because some people actually are not open enough to say this is me. Some people pass through some kind of experience, some were raped. I get what I'm saying? And because of that, they have some reserve sexually. And when this thing is not yet communicated, a man has some expectation, the woman has some expectation that the two of them will not be able to offer each other. So when these things are not properly communicated and addressed, when they now finally get into marriage, that's where the issue will be. Yeah. So I think, like she said, communication is very, very important so that you will know what you are getting into. once you are getting married.
Okay.
I think
Okay, sir. A word from you,
all
sir.
of this. That's why I am proposing. That's why I'm proposing for a relationship college. So these things should be factored into one box. Once you start relating, there's nothing like you shouldn't talk about this. You should keep this one. No, everything should be brought out and trash. Have a good and balanced relationship. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So, all of this should be factored in. From the beginning, from the onset, factored in. There's nothing like, let's not talk about this. Let's reserve this. No, talk about everything.
Close.
Everything must be talked about, must be discussed.
On
Now,
that note,
look at what I'm saying. It does not mean you should practice everything. Talk about them, discuss them. While you talk with someone, you have an idea from someone's conversation. You have an idea of their perception about that topic in life. It will give you a balanced, it will give you a good sense of judgment. You will not be thrown off balance. It's a big problem. We have a lot of pretenders. They pretend into marriage, and they now destroy lives. And they know church. I will talk about church because church is a big problem. You see, religion is a big problem. Because once you get into this box, the church traps you. There's no means of escaping. That's where people think of taking their lives, committing suicide, or killing their spouse. It's very dangerous.
okay.
Very dangerous.
Okay. We have
We want to attach religious sentiment to reality. You see that this thing is not working, and it's not going to work. You say because they have been married, Bible say that, Bible say this, Bible up, Bible down. No, it's rubbish. Before the Bible was written, there was life. There was marriage before the Bible was written. Life has been lived for thousands and millions of years before the Bible was recorded. So why would you use Bible to start forming life that existed before Bible? Life is older than the Bible. Life of a man is older than the Bible. So the Bible should be a form of help, not a control.
not a control.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, Sister Evangelist Loma, you talked about premarital sex. Okay, let me come down. Looking at the world out there, the world at large, looking at the world out there, you see so many youths that are in a relationship, and in fact, the common thing out there is premarital sex, and I feel that we should actually talk about this. Is it a necessity? Is it a necessity?
Okay. The truth is that it is not a necessity. You see, for those of us who are in the church, you will have a culture. Apart from the culture of the church, there are so many reasons why you should not experiment sex before getting into marriage. One of the reasons is that when you experiment sex before marriage, most of the time, it's not the person you experiment sex with that you finally get married to. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the problem is that you have had this experience here, you have had this experience here, you have had this experience here. When you now finally get married, you find out that the ogbono soup you tested, the egusi soup you tested, the nsala you tested is completely different from the vegetable you are eating now. And that's where the problem begins. So it is better you do not experiment. Solomon actually warned, he said, do not awaken love before time.
Before time.
Are you get what I'm saying? For an example, there are people who do, I advise, there are people who do masturbation. I tell them, I say, the danger of doing masturbation is that when you have satisfaction by masturbation, a woman can be able to satisfy you. You have had a particular experience in sex beyond the normal way a man should have sex, should be satisfied by sex. So even if you do anything with a woman, you will not be satisfied until you do that masturbation. When you see people who do gay, for an example, it is a lifestyle, it is a habit they have created that until they do sex in a certain way. That's why you can see somebody has a wife and they still have a man. Are you get what I'm saying? It's because the woman doesn't satisfy him until he goes through the backside of a man before he gets his. So those things are experiments that are not necessary. If someone, grows and learn through communication, like we are saying, this is me, this is how I feel, this is what I desire, this is a kind. And the truth is that if a man loves a woman, the kind of a woman he wants to marry, I get what I'm saying. If a man gets that kind of a woman, to get satisfied himself, it will be very, very easy.
Very easy and simple.
I get what I'm saying. You get the kind of a personality you want, the way a woman behaves, the way the woman talks, her attitude. All these things you play into sex. Yeah. Sex is not just about the beauty of a woman. I get what I'm saying. Because someone can be beautiful, but when the person now begin to talk in the relationship, begin to nag, begin to behave, it will kill the sexual urge. Okay. Are you get what I'm saying? So, sex is connected to every behavior. It's connected to any. It's even connected to money. It's connected to how somebody behaves. It's connected.
Okay. There's this lady that asked me. I'm talking about a friend that asked me a certain time that, like he said, doing an experiment before now getting into marriage. So she was like, if she's in a relationship with one person, is it advisable to be having premarital sex before marriage? I mean, they've known where they are going, that this is actually going to marriage. There's been that mutual understanding, oh, this is marriage, okay, let's have this. Before that time, it's not necessary.
The question is already answered.
The question you should ask her is, let us assume you are in a, finally it didn't work. You enter this one, you test and experiment. It's not what you want. You test the other person. You will test all your life.
Until you become a tester.
Until you become a tester. And you see, there's something, I want everyone to listen. I want everyone to listen to this. There is a way the psychology of a man works. 80, let me say 90% out of 100 men, once they begin to enter this place before marriage, it will be very difficult for them to marry you. It is better you keep the man hungry. You keep the man expectant. I always tell people, I say, it is good in a relationship. You prove to a man that you're a woman. I get what I'm saying? That you are capable of doing what women do. I get what I'm saying? But keep it at that page. Once you get into the man experimenting, it will come to a point the man will feel already that there is nothing again. Since you have entered there, his psychology will start telling him he need to test another one.
To check.
And that's why
to
compare. And that's why men stay very long in life not getting married. Most men, because there is free sex. I get what I'm saying. But when a man cannot easily get a free sex, he knows that he have to get married. You have to wait and get married before getting to that.
And it's make him to get married
early.
Okay, we have 9 minutes to our closure. So let me quickly attend to this question. Someone by the name Ego Light asked 2 questions actually. The first one is, why is it that most of ladies believe on sex in relationship? Most ladies believe in sex in relationship.
They believe in sex.
In relationship. That's his first question. He asked 2 questions. So the first one is, in his words exactly, why is it that most of ladies believe on sex in relationship? That's his first question.
I think I would say it is what the society has made it look like. But from the beginning, it was not so. You see, the society is a very dangerous. They are playing with fire. That's why I say there should be a correction. That's it. People will just be relating with anything they like. In the Western world, they have told us now you can relate with a chair. You can relate with flower. You can just experiment with a chair. Marry and wed with a house. What kind of nonsense is that? Okay? So we need to come back to the origin of God's purpose and intention for home making. If we're able to answer those basic questions, we're able to get to where we're going. But if you don't do that, until we do that, we'll keep running to nowhere. The speed with which the society is running, and they're running to nowhere.
Okay.
I think there's a problem somewhere.
Okay.
Like, we get our children informed from home. And in maybe, let me refer to our religion. We don't talk about sex because we feel that it will corrupt our children.
Exactly.
Then our children go out to test what their peers tell them, because they feel they are awkward if they don't test it. Yes. So we need to get our children informed on time about sex. Tell them what sex is. Don't men's word. Educate them. Tell them what it is. Like in the Hausa land, a girl is being brought up. I grew up there. A girl is being brought up with everything aphrodisiac, everything that a man needs. And she's being told that her body is meant for a man at a particular age. And they believe in open relationship. A singular girl would have up to 5 suitors coming to check on her. And then the father is aware. Maybe the father might be coming back from work and Abdul is somewhere waiting for the girl to come out from the akule to come see her guy. He will be the one to go, oh, you're looking for Aisha. Let me go and call her for you. Then at a long run, they bring the girl inside the house. When she's up for marriage, they will ask her, which one among all those boys that comes around to see you that you prefer? All this while they've been communicating, no sex. But this girl has been groomed. They don't joke with sex. In Islam, they don't joke with sex. She knows that is what she's meant for life. So she's been prepared. Aphrodisiac, everything that a woman needs to be sweet for a man, she has it. So that is why some of these girls that grow up in the north, when you go for them, you are in trouble.
Okay, another underlining fact why many people think they need to experiment is because there are cases where a man they should experiment first to find out whether this man can satisfy them, whether this man
Exactly.
I get what I'm saying, can be able to perform. Now, how do you handle such issue? Now you see, that's why communication is very important. In relationship, you talk about everything. Are you get what I'm saying? Are you sexually healthy? Are you impotent? How long do you think you can be able to handle a woman? This thing should be properly talked. In short, if it's possible, they should carry medical check on those areas before somebody can get married. So that if you get married to someone and the person lied to you, it means there is no marriage. In such thing, you are free to walk out because there is no marriage. Marriage should happen in a place of sincerity. If you have a sickness, you are hiding away from me. I didn't want to tell me. And finally, I get married to you. And I found out that you have that sickness. It means we didn't have a marriage because you never opened up to me. In such case, I am free to walk out. But if you actually tell me the condition of your life and I accepted you that way, it means that we have an understanding, it means that we have marriage. So there are other ways to check those things without experimenting. Because the problem we have with experimenting is that if you experiment, you will keep experimenting. What if your experiment is not what you want? You mean you need to go and experiment another person again until you now keep experimenting before you now find it's not a proper life to live.
Okay. Okay, now moving to the, I don't know if we've actually answered the question. Ego Light, if we have, just drop, let us know in the comment section. So moving on to the second question, he said, can we bring sex into a relationship and call it love? Can we bring sex into a relationship and call it love?
Can we bring sense into a relationship
and call it love?
Sex is not love. You cannot,
Period.
No, it's not love. Sex is a point of meeting between two adults that are married. That is where the bond comes in. But when you bring in sex outside marriage, it means lost. You keep experimenting, just like our father said here.
The truth is this. You can actually make love without having sex.
Yes. Yes.
In real-time relationships, you can make love over time without having sex. And you can have sex without being in love. Sex is more or less satisfaction of an urge for a moment, whether in love or out of love. That's why people buy it in the market. If you need sex, you can buy it. There are sex hawkers